All right. Good evening and welcome. Today is Wednesday, August the 21st, 2019, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. First item on the agenda, addenda. Anything, Jeff?
No, sir. Nothing else to add tonight.
Very good. We'll move right into the public hearings. First being BAR 1930. Jeff?
The applicant is requesting approval for several changes to the property at 2009 Edgewood Avenue in the North Anderson Historic District. Property is a single-family residence. The applicant is seeking to change out all the windows on the house. The current windows are a combination of window patterns based on the size of the windows. Currently, there are 8/8, 6/6, and 4/4 double-hung windows. The applicant is seeking to replace these with matching simulated divided light windows. The windows would be white vinyl-covered aluminum. You see on the front of the house there, you have the 8/8 window. On the side of the house, you have 6/6, 4/4, and so it's a mix of window types on there at this time. The applicant is also seeking to change the paint on the front and rear doors. Now, the doors are currently red. The applicant would like to repaint them black. So the front door, it's a wooden door, so you have the same door, just cleaned up and painted black. And then the door at the rear of the house, same wooden door. The existing door remains, just cleaned up and repainted. The applicant also states that the house previously had black wooden shutters on the front. The applicant would like to replace these with new black wooden shutters. There's a lot of detail in the staff report for the different window designs. The windows show that they are the simulated divided light with the external grids on them. In terms of the shutters, just a wooden louvered shutter. There's an example with it next to a window. The proposed shutters would be a little bit wider than this, so it would match the window opening a little closer than this picture would indicate. Although would not completely close if they actually operated.
But very close.
But very close. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 3 of the Residential Design Guidelines, rehabilitation of historic resources. Following sections apply to this request. The first policy states to replace historic features in kind when restoration is not an option. This would be in relation to the shutters. Replacement of missing or deteriorated architectural elements should be accurate. Avoid adding ornamentation or other decorative elements unless thorough research indicates the building once had them. And in terms of the paint color, preserve primary historic building materials whenever feasible. Using the historic color scheme is encouraged. Base or background colors should be muted, and reserve the use of bright colors to accent building features only. And finally, in relation to the windows, preserve the size and shape of historically significant windows and doors. Repair deteriorated windows or doors instead of replacing it or enclosing the opening altogether. And replace a door or window that is damaged beyond repair with one similar to that seen historically. The board must decide the proposed changes meet the above criteria. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for staff, and the applicant is present tonight as well.
Great. With the variety of size windows, they had corresponding divided lights. What's going to be the new plan? Because they're still the different sizes of the windows.
My understanding is that each window will be replaced in kind. So
okay.
Currently 8/8, it will be 8/8. If it's 4/4, it'll be replaced as 4/4.
Great, makes sense. Okay, because the report simply indicated matching, so I didn't know whether, yeah.
Matching the existing. So.
All seems appropriate. A good detailed package and presentation.
That's very helpful.
Yes.
I would like to see the 8/8, like is existing on the front of the house, continue all the way around the house.
Well, but the different sizes of these windows,
Maybe too much.
I think it would be too much. That's my thoughts. Anyone else?
Particularly since the side, on each side, they are in kind.
Right. I mean, it's a consistent division with the size of the windows. You want to look at the side of?
Yes. Can you see?
Jeff, can we see the side photo again?
Well, on the side here, you have the 8/8 on top, but then the windows at the bottom are smaller, so they're 4/4, but basically the squares are essentially the same size in each of the windows. And so the smaller size, you have the smaller number of panes.
So we would have 8/8 on the front, 8/8 on this
On here.
window, and then 4/4 on the first floor.
Same. And on the back of the house, you've got a 6/6. Again, the window panes are the same size in all the windows, it's just the window openings are all different sizes. And so they match that way, I suppose, with the window panes being the same size in all the windows.
Makes sense?
Makes sense.
All right. Any further questions? Is there a motion? We have a motion from Jill, second from Bill. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you. Moving on now to BAR 1931.
The applicant is requesting approval for new signs at 507 North Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. Property will be the new home of Star Tailors and Alterations. The applicant is seeking to add 3 new signs on the property. The first sign is a replacement face in the existing freestanding sign. And so this is a sign that was up there previously. We're looking to use the same cabinet and replace it with a new sign. The sign face would be routed aluminum with acrylic inserts for the lettering and logo. The sign would have a black background with white lettering. The second sign is a flat sign on the front of the building. You can see here. The sign would have a white background with black lettering and measure 16 square feet in area. The sign would be an aluminum composite material with vinyl graphics. They had 2 options for the location of this sign. The one centered over the space and then one that was more centered over the door. My suggestion was to center it over the building rather than the door, but they did present 2 options for you to look at.
Okay.
The third sign request is for vinyl graphics on the front windows. You can see the door and 2 of the windows would have the vinyl graphics on them. The remaining 2 windows would remain clear and open. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 of the Downtown Design Guidelines for signs. Following sections apply to this request. The policy states to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include all 3 types of signs that they're asking for: freestanding, flush-mounted wall signs, and window signs. In the policy that the sign should be in character with the material, color, and detail of a building. Once again, the board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. A sign permit will be required prior to installation of the signs if approved by the board. Once again, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is represented here tonight as well.
Very good. And the freestanding sign, will there be any internal illumination?
Yes, there would be, again, with just those parts that you see white here. So black aluminum coating on here, and so the logo and the lettering would be routed out and be internally illuminated. So, but that would just be it, not the whole sign face.
Sure. Other questions? Concerns, any?
Are we just talking about this sign?
Well,
The window, the window signs?
okay.
And I agree, I love the signs centered on the face of the building, centered. But I know I've been riding the line looking, and it seems like I wasn't even sure if they had rented the whole building, because there's the 2 windows that are absolutely clear with nothing on them, and then all the lettering on them, and a lot of lettering.
Right.
And I just wonder if it's almost so much you can't read it. If it was spread out over the 4 windows.
Jeff, could we see the front of the building for the,
I have one change.
okay, sure.
After that, when, as we,
It's the vinyl graphics that we're interested in.
you've got the logo on the door with some hours, you've got the logo again with some services, and then larger service language. White vinyl graphics on the windows, it's like this band is white and black.
Mm-hmm.
But see through the rest of the window, you'd be able to look through the rest of the window outside of the actual
Sure.
graphic language on there.
You could zoom out a little bit because Amanda was questioning the orientation of it all.
Right, this is one lease space, as far as I know, and so that's why I suggested the centering here.
Sure.
Instead of being over one side.
They are gonna occupy the whole building.
Yes.
There's so much to read all cluttered together that it would, maybe a lot more effective and less busy looking. It would get your attention more if there's a little more negative space around it. I wonder, you have, Star Taylors on the door, on the window next to it, sign, I wonder if you need them right next to each other. If you could eliminate maybe the one on the doors, have it right there, or maybe eliminate that one, or spread it out a little bit.
But you looking to have all 4 windows with graphics though?
With, instead of.
I guess what makes it difficult is that the door is all the way to one side. If the door were centered, be able to balance. Thoughts?
What if you took the graphics on the 2 windows and moved them each over one window? They'd be centered on those 4 windows.
Yes, like have the two, right,
Have
those centered
graphics here,
even.
and not, this one be moved to here, this one be moved to here.
So the outer windows left and right being
Yes.
blank and the
Yes.
graphics being centered around the middle.
Yes, that's,
They're fine with that?
Jill?
okay with that.
All right, so modification, just taking those 2 windows, moving it over to my left to where they're,
Centered.
Center in the 2 windows.
okay? And otherwise, leave it as is.
Yep. The other change that they brought up is a color change for the sign. They're looking at this option as well, and I think this may be the preferred option at this point. Instead of it being a black background, have a red background. The rest of the sign would remain the same, routed out, with the white letters being the only thing illuminated.
And what color?
Either or approval, red or black, or one or the other.
And what color red are we talking? I mean, is this the red?
Crimson red is what it's called on the sheet here.
Wow.
The black looks so good,
Look good.
and it sort of tied in with the black strip graphics on the front windows.
Mm-mm.
And that awning is green, right, Jeff?
Yes, green.
Yes, sir.
One of the issues with black versus red was kind of paint. Over the years, black may fade a little more, but red may be more consistent. Over the years, that was also the question of red better as far as color scheme.
Yes, ma'am? Yes.
We would like to paint the awning in the future, once we own the building itself. I understand it would need approval, but it would match the color scheme, it would either be black. Most likely switch it from green to black in the future, but it would come before you.
Right, and the black does make sense and consistent with the other graphics that we're talking about.
That's our long-term goal, so
You know, and I think that's probably why Amanda was thinking that the black freestanding sign being more consistent with your long-range plans as well.
The reason I think we wanted to go to the red is so that it wouldn't quite blend in that part of town. We're okay with either or, but it would be, we just wanted
Sure.
Well, I wonder if the red were used as an option, if then perhaps the reds, there could be red somewhere on the building too to tie it together. Because then you have red, green, and your white, you know, and it's, the back strip.
And how's that gonna be with the red brick?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
How is the red sign going to be with the red brick? That is something to think of.
And then so, just so that we're good, what about changing the stripe to red as well?
Well,
No?
we,
Leave it?
we were saying that, but it was
Okay.
mentioned that it would,
Too much of the red though.
with the red brick, and you get the red shades off, and that can, you know, turn you away instead of invite you in.
Like the black, it looks more sophisticated,
It looks more expensive. Sophisticated.
more expensive and sophisticated.
Yeah. The original black really looked good. I think everyone's in agreement.
What's the condition of the awning? Because you bring a color in, what if you went with the green?
Maybe we're gonna change it.
Yeah.
They're fine with the black.
They're fine
Okay.
with black.
Fine with the black.
All right.
That looks really good.
Nice and distinctive. And it's really your lettering that stands out there, very much so, with the contrast in the black and white. Nice graphics there.
Would it be okay if the sign itself, like with the back, with the one, the newer updated one, where your alteration is bigger and moved over?
Sure.
The red, the lettering should match the red sign,
Mhm.
just with the black background.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Very good. All right, so we're going with the black and this configuration on the lettering, readjusting the vinyl graphics centered between the four windows. Any,
Centered.
and the centered wall mount. All right, with that, is there a motion? A motion from Amanda, a second from Mary Lou. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you so much. Look forward to having you downtown. Now on to BAR 1932.
The applicant is requesting approval for several changes at 140 North Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. The property is the home of Blake and Brady. The applicant is seeking to change the awning and signage on the front of the building. You see what they have there now, a brown awning with the logo. The existing awning frame would be recovered in new material, so it'd be the same shape of awning that you see there. It would be, and I'll pass this out because the color doesn't show very well, but it'll be recovered in new material with the new logo for the business. I'll pass both of these.
And the material you're talking about is canvas.
Yes. Different kind of gray color.
Okay.
And the color will reflect on the base of the building as well. So again, the material would change from brown to light gray. The new sign graphic would also be added. The sign language would be white with a copper colored ampersand. The front door would be painted to match the new awning color as well. Actually, all of the trim on the bottom would be painted that same gray color to match the awning. And so everything, the door, the framework, the base would all match and blend in with that awning color, that light gray color now. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for signs, Chapter 9, design guidelines for awnings and canopies, and Chapter 10, design guidelines for colors. Following sections apply to this request. Once again, the design of signs to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include awning and canopy signs. Signs should be in character with the material, color, and detail of the building. And an awning or canopy should be similar to those seen historically. Once again, the board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. A sign permit will be required prior to installation of awning with signage. Once again, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Just for clarification, so the door, the trim around all the windows, and the base are all going to be in the gray?
Yes.
And the brick, I think the brick's also painted, isn't it, for the upstairs? So all of it's going to be that same gray. It's good. Comments, concerns, questions? Hearing none? Think so. Motion?
Motion.
A motion from Bill, second from Amanda. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you.
That's part of it.
And finally tonight, BAR 1933.
The applicant is requesting approval for 2 new signs at 210 North Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. Property will be in Edward Jones' office. The applicant would like to add 2 new wall signs on the building, one on the North Main Street facade and one on the rear facade. The one on the front, you can see are illuminated channel letters in white faced. And then on the rear of the building, just an aluminum faceplate with a vinyl graphic over it next to the rear entrance to the building. Again, the sign on the front of the building would be a white LED lit aluminum channel letter sign. The sign would measure 11 square feet in area and be located above the first floor front windows. The sign on the rear wall would be an aluminum wall sign with a vinyl graphic. This sign would measure 2.5 square feet and be located next to the entrance door. When reviewing this application, the board should once again focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 for design guidelines for signs. Following sections apply. Again, design of signs being in balance with the overall character of the property. Flush-mounted wall signs are considered to be appropriate signs, and the sign should be in character with the material, color, and detail of a building. Once again, the board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. A sign permit will be required prior to installation of the signs. Happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The door on the back, is that the one that's showing in the brick picture for the window? Like a different door. Is that the back door?
That,
Yeah.
The one that's on the screen now should be the rear door.
Right, the back door.
They changed it?
It's a different door.
Door.
At least
Or is that an old photo? Oh,
The door was open. When I took the picture, the door was open, but this is what it looked like when I took the picture last week or so.
There's no awnings.
The awnings are gone?
I think the awnings were removed as part of
the renov, yeah, they were.
previously approved by the board.
Paint with all that black stuff in there?
No, they didn't paint the back of the building. They painted the side and the front.
They didn't paint the
They painted the back as well.
Did they?
Yeah, because it was originally regular brick.
Oh, whoa, what's all this?
That one looks like a electrical fire or something.
Okay, couple of things.
Gotta get another coat of paint.
I believe that I've got the answer on the sign specs. As they're calling it, the raceway behind the channel letters, painting to match the color of the building. Is that what we're talking about?
So the raceway behind the letters, that'll be painted to match the building.
Okay. And important question, is Edward Jones taking over the entire building? No.
I don't believe that is the case, no.
So the question is going to be, this is very attractive, but future tenants, future signage, how is that going to be allotted with the property owner?
Not had any conversations with the property owner about that. I believe I saw a sign advertising additional lease space available, though, so my assumption is that there is more leasable space in the building, so I do not know if they have a plan for that, for future signage.
Because, I mean, this is attractive, it's just we do need to give some thought to additional signage when there are additional tenants. And whether there's going to be some
So
uniform.
the whole first floor? Edward Jones?
You are not leasing the whole first floor, correct? No, just the bottom half. So half the first floor.
How many tenants are they expecting with the new configuration?
So 2 tenants on the first floor.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the, I mean, you mean residential, correct? You say apartments? Zoom out on the front of the building, so we can just give some thought to.
Okay, so that will help. The other ground floor tenant will not have a front entrance, so their signage would probably have to be on the back of the building then. Typically what we do where you have multi-tenant
Right.
buildings, you're allowed to put a sign on the wall that you have leased space in. So sort of, if you have tenants side by side, the 1, 2, or 3 in cannot have one on the end of the building. So we would probably treat this the same where they would be able to have a sign on the rear of the building, but not necessarily on the front.
But what about the Edward Jones sign at the rear?
Because that is, I think that's still a general entrance into the building, so they can access your space through that handicapped access into the building.
Okay. So there's not going to be a request for signage, additional signage on the front of this building?
They can make a request, but
Well-
we would have to see how we would treat it. Typically, how we would treat it, that's what I would say, is that they would be allowed to have one on the rear of the building where their access to that is, so.
But what would, yes,
If there's another tenant, would they be able to access to the front door as well, or is your space preclude that? Just you, but could, but it doesn't go to the back?
so you could not access the back commercial from the front door? Okay. Okay. So it's just you and the residential, so the residential's primary entrance there. Yours is under the balcony. That addresses my concerns. Of course, we still don't know what may be presented down the road, but
I mean, seems like obvious place for the sign, be over the front door, but
as it's also going to be the residential space above. I can see the landlord not wanting that.
interesting sign.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I like the placement of it. Attractive sign. All right, so questions, concerns, comments, anything further?
Not really.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll bring a motion that we approve as is.
We have a motion from Bill, second. From Mary Lou. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you. And now on to the approval of the minutes from the July meeting. Volunteer, we appreciate you following us along. corrections, modifications? Motion to approve from Mary Lou, second from Jill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything further tonight? Very good. With that, motion to adjourn. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Amanda. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.